that we are live, just checking stream.
Hi everybody, welcome to Hors d'Oeuvre this afternoon. My name's Tara and joining me on camera this afternoon is Sebastian. Back in final control is Mark. So if you would like to ask any questions during our 3-hour game drive this afternoon, then send them through to questions@wildeursafari.tv. And if anybody does have the answer to the question from this morning, which animals replace their teeth, we've got as far as the sharks and the elephants, but if anyone has any other suggestions, then do send that through as well. It'd be great to hear from you. So let's jump aboard the Gunda and see what we can go and find in the African bush this afternoon. We did find some elephants, so we're heading up Rebecca's Road. We may have crossed over towards Gowrie Dam at some stage, and if anybody has seen anything at Gowrie Dam, then please let me know as well. It'd be great to know. And we might be able to go and follow up whatever's been over there. Excuse me. But yeah, other than that, let's see what tracks we can find and see who's been out and about on the property. I have been looking for that giraffe. We're here on Zoe's Road, and we'll have to have a look maybe on Impala Plains and Impala Road, see if the giraffe is there before heading off into the east. It's lovely and warm this afternoon. I know I don't look like I'm very warm with a long sleeve shirt on, but I know it's going to get a little bit chilly in a little while. I'm as warm as a cat at the moment. I feel like a cat in front of a heater. And for those of you who weren't able to join us on Drive, we did catch up with the Gowrie gang. We might have a look in catching up with them again this afternoon. Fortunately, they managed to break into Old FC and steal some bread from us. So they were around the houses. So after looking at Inga's house, they came to us. And we thought we'd barricaded everything up. We sent them on the way. Unfortunately, they had other plans. Down towards Twin Dams as well. Oh, Mvubu, hippos, that's what he said to, and Ndlovu, I think that's what the other guide heard as well. Ndlovu, elephants. Kenyani, one of the leopards, we have seen occasionally over in Buffelshoek, over at Buffelshoek Dam, Buffelshoek Cutline. I saw this morning up in Kyamanzi in the north. We're just talking about her at the moment. She actually brought down a water boat, but they're not saying if it was an adult or a calf, but still pretty impressive even if it was a calf. I think it was more likely a calf. observations. Also mobile this afternoon. I'm checking down Zoe's Road and Impala Plains first of all, and then to a Treehouse Dam. Copy that, thank you very much. Hi Hez, good afternoon to you. Good to hear from you. Hez has been looking up, apparently finding only 3 animals. A shark. Ah, that's an interesting one. Oh, that's 4 animals. Shark, alligator, crocodile, which is actually the other one that I was thinking of this morning. So thanks for checking up on that one. The shark, crocodile, alligator, and squirrel. Squirrel's an interesting one. Didn't know that. Oh. Some dung in the road. I thought it looked like a cat dung. It was an odd looking piece of buffalo dung. Elephant's been walking along here. Looks like it was going that way. No, it was going that way. Thanks for that, Hez. So there was a distant dark memory of possibly crocodiles this morning, but I just couldn't remember if it was true or not. Sign of a giraffe, sadly. Oh well. Worth a try while we're here. Can I come and join you there at the MBC Kaya? On the floor. I just wanted to see that. There's got something there on the floor. Lilac-breasted roller. What have you got there, Mr. Roller? He's waiting for an insect to come out from underneath the grass or something. Absolutely stunning birds. I think there's about 12 colours on them. And this time of year we're seeing them living up to their name, rolling. And that's one of the display flights. They'll actually tumble, will actually do these huge circles in the skies. Quite impressive. Okay, little roller. I'm not sure what you're doing there, but I should leave you to it. Say that the hyena den was active, so let's go and have a look. And I hope wherever you are in the world you're enjoying Sunday morning or Sunday afternoon. And I hope you've had a wonderful and lazy one. Oh, there's a little tree squirrel that ran up. So just caught it in the sunlight. It's golden fur. He ran behind the tree just before I could stop. I doubt there's going to be tree agamas around, but you never know. There might be one just out basking in the sunlight. Beautiful orange head, not orange head, blue head on the males. Triangular head. Wow. The wind is incredible. this afternoon. Somebody is just outside. Could be one of the adults. It's been a little while since we've seen one of the adults actually. It's a couple of the cubs. Hello, cubbies. Oh, just so cute. Spotted or laughing hyena. A couple of the names there. Definitely reminds you of a dog, hey? Big ears and long nose. And even the paws stretched out like the dog. You can see the claws on the end of them. But they are closely related to cats, apparently. And a lot of the similarities lie within the skull. I'm sure they found themselves a nice shady spot there, in the sun, keeping nice and warm. Now, spots generally start developing around 4 months of age. You start to see the spots on the body. And in case there's people who are joining us who have not heard what's happening here with the cubs, we've got about 5 cubs here, and they're all roughly around the same age. I think there's a couple of months that separate them. They're the eldest from the youngest. I think the youngest is probably, it's just, you can see the spots, but it's still fairly dark, so I'd probably put it at about 4.5 months. And that's the youngest, that's only one of them. There was 2, we don't know what happened to the other one, so there's now 1 left. And we have 2 who are probably, I would say, maybe about 5.5 and then you've got two that are probably around 6 months old, something along those lines. So 3 separate mothers, I'd say. The matriarch floppy ear as the eldest, and I reckon one of her daughters as the second eldest, and possibly even another one of her daughters, or maybe another daughter, or maybe even a relative who has the third. But I think the second in charge has the middle two from what I've seen. But I can't be too sure. Here comes trouble. As they're getting older, they are definitely becoming a lot more inquisitive and a lot bolder. Having a look around the den. And especially if there's an adult here, they become a little bit more adventurous than when the adult isn't here. You know, little one. Now that little one that's just joined them, the one at the back, I think that's the youngest. You can still see it's fairly dark compared to the cub it's sat next to, but you can see the spots on it. There's quite a big size difference between them as well. And already they'll have established ranks, and it'll really be based on really the size of the cubs at the moment, but also who the mother is. Oh. Where did you get it fried from, little one? You can see that immediate reaction. That's one of the reasons why they stay so close to the hole. So they can dart in there just in case there is any predators around. Some people think that hyenas are hermaphrodites, and that's not the case. They are either male or female. But over the millions of years, the females have evolved a pseudopenis, so their genitalia actually looks like that of a male's. And it can be very difficult to tell them apart, and even experts struggle. And I remember hearing about a research project where they thought one of the main study, or the individuals they were studying, was one sex, and I think something happened to it and they were actually able to examine it under sedation, and they found that it was actually the other sex. I forget which way round it was now. Hi, Dolly now. Good to hear from you. I'm wondering how these dens are made and how deep they are. I think every den will be different, but they generally... If you have a look at where the den is, it's actually in a termite mound, and many of the dens are chosen here in the Sabi Sands from existing holes in termite mounds, and the holes are usually made by aardvarks who go digging for the termites. And other animals, once the aardvark has finished feeding from that termite mound or even living there, they make two different types of hole, one for living and one for feeding. So if the feeding holes, if they've left them for a while, then other animals might come along and just make them slightly bigger, and it could take many different animals. We've seen warthog here, we've seen leopard here, the hyenas we've seen here a few times on a number of occasions. And I think each time the holes get bigger and bigger and bigger, and they get gouged out even more. When warthogs take over, they'll use their tusks to try and open it up a little bit and maybe make it deeper. But an aardvark can dig maybe about 6 meters sometimes into a living chamber. They could go 6 meters. It's difficult to say. I mean, we've never actually put our heads inside and seen how far these ones go, but they'll also excavate little holes that only the cubs can fit into, and the cubs will also sort that out themselves. So none of the adults can actually fit into those holes, just the cubs, and that also protects them from any rival hyena from other clans. Especially at this age, they're going to be vulnerable to all sorts of creatures, from eagles, especially when they're very small, to snakes, to jackal, to a whole range of things, leopard, lion. I mean, if they're really small and there's no mother around to protect them, especially if mothers go and give birth away from the communal den, because this is what this is at the moment. We've got several females utilising this particular den site and several cubs, but some females will actually go off and give birth and stay away for maybe a few weeks or a few months before she moves the cubs to the communal den site. So she won't stick around. She'll go off and forage for food, so then she'll come back and suckle the cubs. So the cubs can be left on their own, so they need these small chambers. But if anything comes along, even as big as a white-tailed mongoose, say, white-tailed mongoose might even eat a baby hyena, who knows? But it's from years of usage and by different animals making these huge holes. Even birds will nest inside abandoned aardvark holes. The ant-eating chat, which we don't get here, it tends to be out on the open plains. And the ruddy shelduck, apparently. Sorry, the African shelduck, not the ruddy shelduck. It's found in Europe. The African shelduck will nest in an aardvark burrow. Well, shall we see if we can head down towards Treehouse Dam? I think there's siesta time still here for the hyena. But the cubs will stay behind at the den site. For probably 7 or 8 months, and they may change den sites depending on what's going on around them. They only start really following on foraging excursions around 7 or 8 months old. Ah, there's one of the adults. Let's see who's babysitting. Could be one of the mothers. Right. Could be one of the males. The males do a little bit of babysitting. So well camouflaged. There you go. Can you see him there? No. Possibly one of the reasons why the cubs are a little bit bolder. Hi Stacey, all the way over there in Australia, good to hear from you. And I didn't quite catch if you were asking if there's any similarities with the behavioural side or whether you were saying there was. But oh, okay. I think that's what you're asking. Oh, okay. I'm getting a bit confused now. So, yeah, I think that's what you were asking there, Stacey. Asking if there was behavioural traits. You don't really see them grooming each other as much as what you'll see lions doing. Remember, lions are one of the very few social cats. But even when you get... Oh, okay, making more of a statement. Okay. But I think on the grooming side, you don't really see them grooming that much. I've very rarely seen the hyenas grooming each other. We've seen the babies. We've seen babies and adult or mother. But once they get to adults, you don't really see that interaction as much. You don't see the bonding as much. It tends to be sniffing the genitals, and still maybe a little bit of play amongst the adults, but grooming is a very big part of the cat society, as I say, with the lions, and you'll see that with cheetah if they're male coalitions. You'll see that bonding, and the females with the cubs as well. But that's one thing that you don't really see them sharing. But other features to share with the cats, I think, is what you're asking. They don't have retractable claws or protractile claws. They can't sheath their claws. They're out constantly like a dog. So it's peculiar because they actually chase and run down prey in much the same way dogs do. The dogs are... Oh, I'm going to make some space here. Well, let's move on. But hold that thought and I'll come back to you. Hello. Good, good. How are you doing? Sorry, I had my radio turned down a little bit lower than I thought. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah, no, we've been here a little while. So, hello. Oh, is he? Oh, awesome. I'll see if I can catch up with him then. Oh, as well. Oh, awesome. I will see if we can go and catch up with him then. Awesome. Thank you. Sorry? I haven't seen. Did you see any this morning? No. No.
Not out this morning.
Okay. No, I didn't hear of any. I just heard of Nkanyani up by Kaimanzi, I think.
Orange time.
Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah.
No worries. Enjoy. Yeah, sounds like there's a couple of stations wanting to come and view the cubs. We'll make some space for them as well. But yeah, they rely on the staying ability, the stamina, just like the dogs do, and they're actually very efficient hunters in their own rights, but they won't really hunt in the way that cats do. They can either hunt by themselves or hunt in a pack, and they'll chase down the prey and grab hold of it, much the same way the wild dog or wolves can do. Hi Danielle, good afternoon to you, all the way over there in the Netherlands, Amsterdam. Good to hear from you. How many cubs can hyenas have at any one time? Now I've always understood it as 2, but it was something I was reading a little while ago, and they said sometimes they have found them to have up to 3 cubs. The brown hyena can have a couple more cubs. Sometimes 3 or 4, maybe I think even up to 5 sometimes. But there's a quite intense competition with the spotted hyena. I think that's one of the reasons why they probably don't have more than 2 cubs. Andrew seems to think there might be a bull rhino this way, so we'll try this side first and then head down towards Treehouse Dam, where he said there might be another one there as well. And there was one website on the internet I read that spotted hyenas might have up to 4 cubs, but I haven't found any other literature to really back that up, so I might just be putting it out there. And that's one thing about information on the website, and there is a lot of good information, but there's also sometimes maybe wrong information as well. So I always try and cross-reference it, and the most I've found is most say 2, and probably about half say can sometimes have up to 3. Standing by. Affirmative, but I've just found the other Nkombi Andrew was talking about on some side of Zoe's Road just before junction with Finland's Cut Line. If he's going to come and join us. And I think Kevin also had a question on hyena, but I'm not too sure what that was. But this is a white rhino. And I don't recognise this one. This one seems quite a small rhino. having a listen behind it, which is quite interesting. We're not having an ear pointing towards us just yet.
We are right at the place, but can't see her with nothing from she always running around.
Is it a bull? Mind you, I haven't seen Shorthorn for so long. It looks a little bit smaller than Shorthorn. I'm hoping the rhino might walk in front, but I'm thinking he might just go behind the vehicles. And see how small the eye is compared to the size of the head. That can give you an indication of how good an animal's eyesight is. And rhinos don't have a particularly good eyesight. They've got pretty good close vision apparently. Actually looking at what they're eating, and from here they will be able to see something. So if I was to stand up now, he would probably not be very happy with me. And they're very aware of their surroundings. I've seen rhinos react to things that they've passed on numbers of occasions, and if it's not quite how they remember it, they do get very, very edgy about it. Very unsure. But you can see those huge ears. Constantly moving, just like a cat's trying to pick up any information. And then their huge nostrils, also a very good sense of smell. shame, you can see it's very warm, there's a lot of flies on his back. Tell you something, the skin just behind the ear of a rhino is very, very soft. And just underneath the leg it's like velvet. Doesn't look like it. But otherwise over the body it's pretty thick. But they can still feel. And they can still bleed very quickly and very easily. You might even be able to see the scratches that have just marked them as they walk past thorn branches. Looks like he's got a couple of cuts just on the end of his nose. I'll be using the hardened lips just to crop the grass. You see him moving his head from side to side to also aid him in that. And then the grass will be sucked into the back of the mouth where the teeth are. It's also like a vacuum cleaner. Hi Jerry, good to hear from you. Wondering how big a size difference is there between the two horns, and can you age a rhino by its horn? And certainly in its first few years you can age a rhino. But as they get older it becomes a little bit more difficult because they do wear down. And Shorthorn, I think, has been in a few battles, and I think his horn has become much shorter because of it. This could be Shorthorn. I haven't seen him for so long. He's pretty relaxed like Shorthorn. He just looked a little bit smaller than Shorthorn. I think it probably is him. Could be his horns just grown a little bit since I last saw him. Got a little bit sharpened. And rhinos, some rhinos are better at sharpening the horns or shaping the horns than others, because it continually grows just like your fingertips, fingernails, and your hair. It's keratin. And they will rub the horns on tree trunks, stones, termite mounds. They'll use the horn to maybe help to dig up some roots from the plants. And they are grazers, pure grazers. Sometimes you will see them digging up the roots. And that's where you get some rhinos with very long horns and straight horns, some that are curved. Just depends on how good they are at shaping it. Oh yeah, I can see his tail now. Not too much hair on it. I think it is shorthorn. The length of the horn, I think we had 1.5 meters was the longest horn on record, front horn. The back horn, I think probably about 90 centimeters, something like that, I think it was. I love this rhino, he's just so relaxed. He's probably no more than 4 meters, maybe 3 meters from us. And we have seen him fighting, well, not fighting, but we have seen him with a younger bull, gently pushing him out of his territory because the younger bull wasn't really showing him much respect. We have seen him being in fights before as well. We've got a great deal of respect for this rhino. Hi Sarah, and good afternoon to you, wanting to know what the short horn's for. And it's for protection, the same as the front horn. And on the rhinos that have fairly large heads, like the white and the black rhino here in Africa, and the Sumatran rhino to a certain degree, they have the 2 horns to protect the nose and the eyes, the soft vulnerable areas. Whereas the other rhinos, they have a slightly smaller head, especially the Javan rhino, which is the lesser one-horned rhino, and the Indian rhino, which is the greater one-horned rhino. So they only have the 1 horn to protect both the eyes and the nose. And it has been found that they've got a core of calcium in there as well, calcium fragments, as well as the keratin. But a horn doesn't go, or isn't attached to the skull. It's just like your fingernail. You can grab hold of your fingernail and move it. If you grab hold of a rhino horn, you can move it slightly, and it just goes underneath the skin, maybe 2 or 3 centimeters or so, maybe a little bit more. What's that? That's about about 3, maybe 4 centimeters. It goes about that deep underneath their skin. And if you look very carefully at an adult rhino, you can actually see a groove just above the nose. So I'm pointing here, but it would be just here on me if it was, no? If I was a rhino, it would be here. So if this was my horn, it would be under here. So just on top of the nose, underneath the horn, there's a little groove there. And that's where the horn's actually ending. There you go. If you can see it now, you should be able to see that shadow. So if you look just above his nostril, you'll see that shadow there where the horn's turned. That's not very helpful. Oh well. He's obviously decided that enough's enough. And that's the view he wants to give us. Not impressed. At least he came over to say hello anyway. I do have a huge soft spot when it comes to rhinos. I've worked very closely with them, and I've learnt a lot from captive rhinos as well as wild rhinos, and there's just a lot more to them that meets the eye, very much so. And there's a lot that goes on in their heads and you don't realise just by looking at them. They just look like these big animals that just graze all day or sleep, and that's about it, but there's a lot more that goes on with rhinos. And they are capable of recognising people and vehicles, and yeah, I think he was coming over just to come and see us. I've actually got quite a funny story when I was working with one of the captive rhinos, and we used to actually have quite a lot of contact with them, and it is possible to train rhinos. I've heard about it with other captive rhinos. People have been able to get them to lift their feet up and things like that. And I was with one of the rhinos and I was just tickling him, and the rhinos really love tactile communication. They will rub against each other. If you see two rhinos together, you'll see they'll sit together, they'll touch each other. If they walking together, they'll move past each other, rub each other. And they really do love that tactile, the touch. And as I say, the skin underneath the leg is like velvet. And I remember I was tickling one of the boys under his leg, so he actually stood there and lifted up his leg, so he was actually asking me to tickle him. So he stood there and lifted up his leg, so okay, cool, I'll come and give you a tickle. So tickled him, and I was just stroking him underneath his leg, and he just started falling asleep, and he had his head sort of lifted up and his leg stretched out, and as his head was getting lower and lower and lower, and you could see he was sort of going into a deeper sleep, and then all of a sudden he sort of jolted awake. It was almost, have you ever done that and you're in a deep sleep and you're dreaming and you trip over a stone or something, or you fall, and it was that kind of a jolt, and he sort of, whoa, what's going on? But his horn was probably about that far off the ground. Shame, it was very funny. Hi Marshila, new name I haven't heard before. Good afternoon to you. Saying, oh look, we've got a grey hornbill sitting in the tree. Nice. Stations also left one on Combi, Zoe's Road junction with Philemon's Cut Line. Lock is open. So wanting to know, when do animals sleep? Because you watch the cameras a lot at night and they seem to be pretty active at night. And a lot of animals won't take a long sleep like humans do. Lots of animals will take naps during the day and night. And they'll break up the sleep, and many don't even need as long a sleep as what humans do. The ones that tend to sleep for a long period of time tend to be the nocturnal animals. But the animals that you see during the day, the elephants, the rhinos, the antelopes, they tend to be the ones that will take naps during the day and night. Especially during the summertime, you'll find them sleeping at the heat, or during the heat of the day, taking little naps. And then also at night, take little naps. And maybe sleep a little bit more at night in the winter time, in the cooler temperatures. And they might find themselves a nice warm sand bed or something to go and lie down in. Same with the buffalo as well. You'll find the buffalo move around a lot at night. Baboons are one of those that will go and sleep through the night. In fact, there's probably one of the few that I can think of that will sleep through the night, a bit like a human. Spring hares usually sleep all the way during the day. We don't have spring hares here for some reason. I haven't seen them. Who was that? I saw something. Maybe it was my imagination. Vervet monkeys. Sorry. No, vervet monkeys is another one I can think of. So hopefully that helps you. Jerry wanting to know why and when do rhinos form a crash. We've got a male impala here. A few male impala. I'm going to say it's a bit unusual this time of year to have only one. But if we have any on board, never seen an impala before. There we go. And generally this time of year you'll find rhinos coming together a lot more than during the summertime, when food is scarce and it kind of brings the rhinos together. But there's no real set time. It just depends on the rhinos and the individuals. You generally get the bulls being territorial and they'll generally be on their own. The females, you can call that a crash if they'll have a youngster with them, quite possibly, or maybe two. May have an older calf and a calf at foot, a young calf with her. I mean, I've seen on my old reserve there was a couple of females that used to knock around together. Unless the female had a calf, a young calf, she would actually stay with another female and her older calf, and they would actually knock around together for quite a while. And then when she had her young calf, she went off and was on her own for a little bit, and then she would come back to the female and her older calf. So I don't think there's really a set time, Jerry, that they will do it, but I think they're a lot more sociable than what we give them credit for, or what we have given them credit for in the past. And we've got quite an interesting relationship with some of the rhinos going on here, especially when there's young males. They'll quite often form a crash, which is just a group of rhino, generally a bachelor group, where the younger males can learn from older males, like in many species. So you will often get a few bulls together, which is basically what we've got. But we've also got a young female in that mixture, and I wonder if it was her brother station at Treehouse Downford. If he's seeing something there. Station at Treehouse Down, come in. Thank you, sorry I didn't realise there was a lock. Okay, let's see if we can go on the other side. Here's the other rhino, and I think this is the rhino we saw scent marking the other day. Might get this rhino rolling in the mud a little bit if we're lucky. This is Skewhorn. Now this is a bull who I've heard is not always the most friendly of bulls. But I do wonder if he's just been having a bad time of it. The other day I met him, he wasn't really that grumpy. Look at this, I love this when a rhino rolls in mud. You're looking at 2.5 tons. Acting like a little puppy dog. And I think we've actually had a young bull join the normal crash of 5. But certainly that young female is quite a puzzler to join the males. And there's a couple of males there that are pretty old. And they should really be holding on to a territory of their own, but they're not. And I think possibly that's one of the reasons why they are part of the group still, or they do associate with each other. Sometimes they'll break away and they'll be found on their own, and then they'll come back together again, which I think is wonderful. But this is a territorial bull. Hi Deborah, and welcome on board this afternoon. Wanting to know what the differences are between the white and black rhino. The white rhino has the wide mouth, they're pure grazers. That helps to act almost like a lawnmower, getting as much grass into the mouth as possible. Whereas a black rhino has a hooked lip, and that's useful for pulling down the branches, and they're able to eat the leaves and the branches, which is their diet. So there's a different diet, so a different mouth shape. Wow. That was nearly all over it. I love it. Is he even sitting like a little dog? On his haunches. You might even be able to see the huge neck muscle at the back, the nuchal lump behind the head, and that helps to counterbalance the huge head of the white rhino. And it's very prominent, whereas in the black rhino it's not as big, they don't have as large a head. They still have a pretty large head, but not as large as the white rhino. So when they walk you'll often see the black rhino with the head up, the white rhino with the head down. Now, apart from keeping them cool, especially in the summer, he's probably putting that on because the sun is drying out his skin. It helps to keep it very well moisturised.
Going to stop big pressure press.
Now you can see the length of this male's horn is pretty long compared to the other male we saw. And he's called skew horn because it goes off just at an angle. And I think this is as far north as he comes. Going to do a bit of horn rubbing now. Hi Jennifer, over there in Toronto. Wondering if healthy animals or healthy adults get stuck in the mud. And I don't think so, I wouldn't have thought so. But maybe if there's a huge mud pit. Then quite possibly. I think it really does depend on the size of the mud wallow. And something like this, probably not. I think the bottom is hard enough. But maybe if there is a much larger one and it's pretty soft, maybe sinking mud almost, then I'm sure they would. Thanks, Mark. Mark's saying that even adult elephants can get stuck in the mud, but as I say, I think it probably will depend on the size of the mud wallow. So I was thinking more this sort of size. I doubt they would get stuck in that size. I think that's probably got to be one of my favourite behaviours to watch when it comes to rhino, rolling in mud. And I think it just shows a different side to them. I think a lot of people maybe fear rhinos and think that they're going to be charging at the vehicles all the time. I mean, even this little guy is supposed to be grumpy, but I've yet to see that from him. He didn't even look at us, and It's possible that maybe people have just got a little bit too close to him, maybe just got into his personal space, and maybe that personal space is a little bit larger than what other rhinos are. But it's all about how you approach them and read them, and so if you give them the space, then you give them the way out, then generally you won't have a problem with them. Well, that's what's been my experience anyway. I think just seeing them rolling in the mud, as you say, hopefully shows you that they're not all what's the word? Cantankerous. I think that's often used for rhino. They're in a bad mood. Stations 1 and Combi Falmouth South from Treehouse Dam on the western side, leaving the open lock. There is also 1 and Combi Junction, Zoe's Road and Fluman's Cut Line.
Hammond Road, also to Ramadi Way. 2 Combi on the Central Spain. Yeah, I'm taking my way out now. Yeah, very hard to make the last, when I got up to the 3 seconds, you know. So we're at the another month. Airline B and the British Airline on the Central Spain. They put it up from that.
Getting a bit of break up there. We're going to make our way around towards Twin Dam, so I still want to keep heading east and then see if we can come maybe down Central Road. See if we can try and time sunset with quarantine. What time is it? Already. Might be just after sunset. But I still want to see if we can find that serval. I think we've got to try and keep it up. We've got to find one unusual nocturnal animal each drive. Nocturnal animal we don't often see. Mark had the African wildcat the other day. And I think he had Janet was it last night you had Janet? I think it was. And John Phillips. We'll hunt it, John. Badgers. I'm sure Alan's on board, also want a honey badger. I am definitely going to give it a go. Definitely. Hi Brenda, still looking for the giraffe. Over there in Washington, I hope you're doing well. Still looking for your giraffe. I hope we can find one for you. I'm wanting to know how long do giraffe babies stay with the mums. And is it true that lions hunt giraffe? Yes, it is very true. Lions hunt giraffe, and even adult giraffe will fall to lions. Especially when they come down to the waterhole to drink. That's when they're the most vulnerable. The head's down at the water level. They're not seeing very far like they do when they have their heads up, and that's when lions will come in and grab them and grab the necks. Even in Kruger, the lions have learned if they chase the giraffes onto the tarmac roads when they're wet. Oh, we've got to change battery. We're back, but yes, the lions will chase the. Are we back? Bit of a break up there. The lions will chase the giraffe onto the wet tarmac, and the giraffe will slip, and then the lions will then again grab the neck, because once the head's down it's very difficult for a giraffe to go anywhere, to move. But the youngsters, the calves, will probably, that's the strongest bond, is actually the calves and the mothers. But otherwise, giraffes, very loose society. They will move in and out of herds as they please. The oldest calves I've seen really still stick around with the mothers, probably about 1.5 years old, maybe 2 years, and then after that they might start moving away. And I think a lot of it will depend on the size of the youngster. If the youngster's grown pretty quickly, probably move away or become a lot more independent a lot sooner. Maybe about 2 or 3 years. Chose the wrong side, didn't I? Right, there's a couple of Ellie bulls around here a little bit earlier. This is the hippo. Good afternoon, hippo. Hi again, Jerry. And just asking about the termite mound that the hyenas were sleeping at a little bit earlier. Will the termites still be working? The termite mound that's being lived in by other animals? No, they would have died out. The colony would have died out. And especially ones where you see the dwarf mongoose, it also would have died off and or moved on. Especially the offspring would have moved on and formed new colonies elsewhere. The winged termites. And one of the reasons is the mound is actually used for temperature regulation, so if they have a huge hole in the side of the mound and they are active in that mound, they will close that hole up. But otherwise, if it stays open, then you can be pretty sure it's not working anymore. Because they will open little holes for air to escape, and they'll close the holes to keep the air in and keep it at a nice constant temperature. I think it's around 32 or something. It's quite a pleasant temperature. Yeah, birds don't have much to say this afternoon. Egyptian goose on the other side of the bank, snoozing away there. There he is. It's in the top left of the screen. Did you guys see which way the elephants went? No? Okay. Well, let's carry on heading east then. Should we take Mamba Road for a change? Drainage line. Nope. Nobody in there. How you doing? Yeah, good. Oh, just seeing if we can find those any bulls. Just found the tracks here. Oh, they're that side now then. Oh, okay.
You can't get in there.
Oh, is it?
I just bypassed in there.
Oh, okay.
You might get in there, maybe.
I was going to say, maybe if we take the drainage line up here, maybe.
Maybe. It is like this little drainage that goes like that.
Oh, okay.
Which joins is in there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see if we can give it a go then.
Where were you broadcasting?
Sorry?
Where were you broadcasting?
Are we broadcasting throughout the world on the internet? We're actually live at the moment, so people are joining us on Game Drive right now.
Oh,
So,
what
yeah.
channel? I mean,
Just on the internet, so
what
we
do
on
you do,
Wild
just
Earth.
type in Game Drive?
Wild Earth. Yeah. Just www.wildearth.tv.
Wild Earth?
.tv.
I'll write it down for you, Alice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a lot of fun.
Well, enjoyable.
Yeah, you too.
Have a good one.
Aha. Oh, there he is. I see. I see a big grey butt. You have to get in here. See how he reacts to us. It's funny because their tracks were actually going that way. Excuse me, mister, do you mind if we come and join you? I'm definitely not sneaking up on you, that's for sure. Are you able to see him there? mister. I don't mean to sneak upon your back there. Little crested Franklin right in the bottom of the screen there. Little and large. I think this is one of the big bulls that we've seen before. And there's the other bull. So they must have done something funny. Maybe done a full circle. I'm wondering if I heard right. I think Suzanne's watching over in Peru.
Ah.
That's Suzanne and Pete over in Peru. As some of you might remember, Suzanne was on camera a little while ago. I hope you're doing well, Suzanne.
I'll say hi to her.
Hi, Suzanne. Hope you're well. Great to hear from you over there in Peru. Hope you're having a wonderful time.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
It's funny, actually, I was going through the diaries today, just taking some snippets out of them. And I came across there was a sighting that myself and Suzanne shared. And I wonder if Suzanne will remember. And it was probably the best zebra sighting I ever had. And it was up on Cheetah Cut Line, and we had zebras fighting, we had zebras rolling around in the dust. It really was just quite a magical sighting of zebra. Wow, he's got quite a long tail, this guy. Oh, that was right. She was filling in for Herman. Oh, it's great to hear you dropping by, Suzanne. I wonder if we might be able to catch up with these guys on the other side. Looks like they might just be heading that way. See if we can, maybe see if we can have a look at their faces. Crunch, crunch, crunch. saw one. No, maybe not. My eyes like to play tricks on me. Both there. That's nice. Gonna get a great visual of it though. I might get a better one. Let's see if I can squeeze in here. I might just come up through that. I think he might just come up here. I'm hoping. But he might decide not to. There are a couple of beautiful big bulls though. Ah, I see what the problem is. Okay, let me just see if I can try a different approach. It might work, it might not. It might give us a slightly better view. I'm just hoping it doesn't give us another flat tire. Thought if I put my wheels on there, it might work. I don't particularly want to get a flat tire.
Yeah.
Especially not here.
Yeah, for sure. Or he's leaving anyway.
Oh, he's going that way. Okay. Oh well.
He's going in the thick bush there.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to leave him. I was hoping he might just come up this way, but unfortunately not. So I can't quite get in there, and he is in that very thick bush. At least we managed to see the other bull.
Yeah.
But I might have to leave him to it. Always a try. Always a try. Might have to go back the way I came. Ah, that's interesting. I didn't realise you could get up here. Learn something new every day. All I want to do is get this man back to the real compound. Stations leaving Toonbluff, just on the eastern side, Twin Downs Road, close to Twin Downs itself, finish the team, open lock. Why is it I'm smelling elephant more now than when we were with the elephants? That's not normal. But there is a lot of dung on the road, I suppose. Smelling a lot of elephants. Is it me or is it just suddenly gone from fairly green to really, really, really yellow now? And all of this area looks completely bare now. Almost feels like it's been just within the last few days. Winter is very much here. Hey Franklin. Oh, we were going to take Mamba Road, weren't we? Oh, well we're pointing this way now. Let's go down Battalier instead. See if we can find a piece of dung for a dung quiz. Oh yes. And just so everybody know, we're not having a fireside chat tonight because we had it on Friday. It was It's a full moon fireside chat. Sorry about that, folks. Hi, Lisa, over there in the UK. Hope you're well. I'm wondering if there's going to be any snakes active today. Would this be a day that they would be active? Because I said a little while ago that snakes might be active. Maybe not active, but they might be out and about, sunning themselves at least on a day like today. Especially if the winds pick up. But it's usually the August winds when the winds really become strong. That's when it kind of gets the snakes moving a lot. The August winds and that kind of signals that the warm weather's on its way, and that's when you really start getting the huge movement of snakes. But today I think there may have been snakes out and about sunning themselves. When it was overcast the other day and bitterly cold, I'm sure they were hidden away in either an aardvark burrow or under a rock or in a crevice, somewhere that's may just hold some warmth. Be curled up, very lethargic. Hi, Sarah. Sure if it was a Sarah from earlier, but if it's not, hello. Welcome aboard. Ah, it is the same Sarah, but hello anyway. Wanting to know what makes an area malaria free, and a lot of it will have to do with the mosquito itself. There's the Anopheles mosquito, a certain species of mosquito that carries malaria. So in areas where it doesn't occur, then you won't have the vector for carrying the malaria. It's a protista. It's not a bacteria. It's not a virus. It's a protista. It's slightly different. So that's what the malaria is. And then you need fairly wet areas for the mosquitoes to really, swampy areas almost. But we do get the Anopheles mosquito here, we do get malaria here. But there'll be conditions like what the mosquito likes as well, so the swampy areas, wet areas, stagnant water especially, they like. Malaria can't survive in arid areas. So if I can think of where malaria is found, I'm actually not sure the malaria itself, what it needs, but certainly not the dry, arid areas. We didn't have malaria up in the northern part of Africa, South Africa, where I used to work, but we did have the Anopheles mosquito, which is quite interesting. But I think it will be the warm temperatures during the winter, even though this is still cold, but it's warmer than up in the north. I think that will have a lot to do with it. Warm winter temperatures, and warmer winter temperatures. Up in the Waterberg, you can get down to the minuses. I'm just trying to think what else it actually needs, why it doesn't occur in maybe other areas. But it's that combination anyway, the warm, or the temperatures and the wet, the moisture. Stacey, again from Australia, wanting to know this time about aardwolves. Do we get aardwolves? And I haven't seen any sign of them. I haven't seen any tracks, but they might be here. We do have termite mounds. We have ants, so that's the diet of the aardwolf. It might be that, you see, we don't have that much in the way of aardvark from what I can see, so I wouldn't have thought there'd be that much competition. Pangolin as well, they'll eat different species. And Angela also wanting to know, hi Angela, also wanting to know if there's any anteaters. We don't have anteaters, not the giant anteater from South America. But we do have anteaters as in animals that eat ants and termites. The aardvark, the aardwolf and the pangolin are three animals that have that as their daily diet. Look at that. See the Drakensberg Mountains right in the back there. Which is a very, very vivid pink.
I'd like to join you. I'm coming from
Beautiful, hey? Drakensberg Mountains. Just want to quickly show you a picture of an aardwolf, just in case there's people on board that haven't seen what an aardwolf looks like. It's actually the smallest member of the hyena family. That's the aardwolf. In fact, I think it's probably a subfamily of the hyenas. It actually has a family of its own, but it is related to the hyenas. It's actually known as the smallest of the hyenas. But it does look like the hyena, almost like the cubs that we saw earlier, but it's got the stripes on the body rather than the spots. And this beautiful bushy tail, I don't know if you can see that there, but very bushy tail. And they'll dig and break open the termite mounds, and they'll dig and lick up the termites that come out and any ants as well from ant hills. You go aardwolf, and that's the pad. So it also looks a bit like a hyena's pad, but it's actually when it registers on the ground, it doesn't really come out too much like that. I remember the first time I saw an aardwolf pad, and it was all scrunched up almost. And I tell you something, none of us got it right the first time round on our assessment. you actually get the claws registering really nicely, and so you get the pads. You don't really get this back pad registering, so it's really these toes and the claws. So it makes this little three mark. So it's almost like that. That's what you actually see registering in the sand, and maybe a little bit of the pads if you're lucky. You don't really see this shape. Beautiful little animal though. Sorry. You leaned the wrong way. I saw you doing that bicycle thing, you lean into the curve and the curve just went the wrong way. Hi Nadav. Good afternoon to you. Wondering if birds sleep? Yes, they do. A lot of the birds do sleep at night, they roost at night. Although I think they do move around a little bit. They'll maybe change positions, but some, especially the perching birds, when they sleep, their feet will lock into positions so they sleep on the branch and they don't fall off. I kind of was forgetting about the birds earlier. I was saying what sleeps. But then you do have the nocturnal birds, like the owls that sleep during the day. Yeah, let's keep going on central. Although, I know, let's quickly head up towards Buffelshead Dam, and then come down Nyala Road North. Good to hear from you. I'm Pepperbird. Hope Pepperbird's watching too. Interesting question. Oh, sorry. I've just been told. Sorry, Linda. 2 feet right in it there. I didn't know. But yes, wanting to know if the ostrich was seen in the same area as last time. It was actually this time last year that we saw one ostrich. And would they be coming to Djuma to drink the water, or why else would they be here in Djuma? And I was actually thinking the same thing, Linda, but the first time we saw the ostrich, it was on Philemon's Cut Line. And the ostrich that we saw this time, the 3 ostrich, they were here on the right. Actually, in this block they moved through, I think it was about here that we followed them through onto Cheetah Cut Line. And I think they move between us or Cheetah Plains, those sorts of areas, maybe even the Kruger National Park, and they maybe head up to other areas in the north where there's also the open habitat, which is where ostriches prefer. They prefer the open areas. So I think they just pass through. Now, it's funny that it's been winter both times that we've seen them. It might have something to do with it. It might be that they are looking for more water, although there's a lot of dams around here. But could be they're searching further afield for food. I think maybe that has maybe something to do with it. Quite possibly. But it might have nothing to do with it. So I don't really know, Linda. I don't really know, but I think it could be just like the cheetah. Maybe they actually move away from the cheetah. Maybe there becomes a lot of predators where they're living and they move into a different area for the time being. Kind of escape the predators and then move again. Could be something to do with that. But I don't think it'll be water related at this stage. is a very nice book actually. I quite enjoy using it. Nice pictures, some nice information. Field Guide to Mammals of Southern Africa. That's by Chris and Tilde Stewart. And if anybody would like the information on the books that I do use, I've put the tracking book, the mammal book, the bird books, and a couple of other books that I mentioned up on my public Facebook page under discussions. So if you want to get the titles and the ISBN numbers of those, then I've put them up there. And that's under the discussions page, under books. Books used on Drive, I think I've titled it as. Just so the information could stay kind of in a central area. Hi Doug. Good afternoon and evening to you, Doug. Great to hear from you. Over there in Virginia. So I suppose it would be your morning, wouldn't it? One of these days I'll actually get my head into the right time zones. But wondering what the relationship is between hippos and rhinos. And I have seen hippos having a go at rhinos before. Caught them on a couple of occasions. And I think hippos can just be very territorial over the water. We've even seen them pushing buffalo out the water when they've been sitting there for their favourite sunning spots, I think. And I think that's possibly has something to do with it. Although they are both grazers, maybe this time of year they may compete a little bit for food. Quite possibly, maybe there's a little bit of aggression there for food. But otherwise, they don't usually interact with each other. It's only been occasions that we've seen them. And I think it was Penny sent through a video of a rhino actually fighting a buffalo, which was really quite amazing. I'd love to know the follow-up or the reason why they started fighting. I'd love to have seen that. So I don't know what it was they were fighting over. But very unusual to see the two species interact like that. And again, we have seen it once, but we never saw a fight. We just saw the rhino. It was one of the bulls, and I think it was the bull that knocks around with the young female. And he walked right up to a buffalo standing in the water, and I don't know why. It was that particular spot. It was at Treehouse Dam. There was plenty of water there. There was plenty of shallow spots there. I've seen them drinking at different parts of the dam. But for some reason, he wanted to go and challenge that buffalo, and the buffalo went, "Nah, I'm not moving." So he backed away and walked off. But very interesting, and even his horn was touching the boss. That's the middle part of the horns there. Hi Penny, good to hear from you. Good to hear you on board this afternoon. I'm wondering if hippo ivory is superior to elephant ivory, then could it be used, or could they become endangered? And I think maybe the reason why they haven't is probably because of the amount of ivory. Probably better off seeing the hippos here. See, as we're talking about hippos, there's some more hippos. Ruffles Hook Dam. You can see the water's receded quite a lot as well. But yeah, I was mentioning on Drive the other day that in the past dentures were made from hippo teeth. The canines and the incisors, the hippo ivory, because it didn't discolour as much as the elephant ivory did. But I think it probably is just the sheer size of the elephant ivory. Are you able to get the three-banded plover just on the edge of the water there? Been a while since I've seen one of those. Sorry, hippos, nothing against you. I think they've been communicating. And there was a couple of hippos calling there, one on the other side of the dam. I think they must have been communicating underwater, and then it just peaked there a little bit. There's a three-banded plover. Hi, Kevin. Good afternoon to you. Do any of the animals hibernate here in winter? And the temperatures don't really get cold enough for that. Hibernation is really something the mammals do. The bats may go into torpor, which is kind of a shorter version of hibernation. Some bats might do that in some areas, but other than that, not as far as I know. The reptiles, they kind of become dormant, but you can't really call it hibernation. They may move around a little bit, may sun themselves, whereas the hibernation is the whole sleeping for so many months on end, or lowering the metabolism and literally just not moving for many months. Oh, hello, nightjar. This is another nocturnal bird. Oh. For once, not sitting on the road. Hi, April. And, oh, there's our nightjar. There we go. Okay, there's the nightjar in the road. Now I'm going to put my hat on because it's starting to get a little bit chilly. No, don't fly away. It's actually one of the first times I want you to stay. April, wanting to know are there any marsupials here in Africa or South Africa? Nope. No marsupials, no pouched mammals. Found only in South America and Australia as far as I know. No monotremes either, no egg-laying mammals here. They're only confined to Australasia. It's New Guinea and Australia. Hi, Roger. Good evening. Wanting to know, is there a shot to prevent malaria? Not a shot, but tablets. Can take malaria tablets. I haven't heard of a shot, unless there has been one that's been developed. But certainly if you go to an area where there is malaria, certainly follow the precautions. Wearing long sleeves at night, and long, especially the ankles. The Anopheles mosquito actually bites, I think it's about 80% or 90% around the ankle, so certainly keep your ankles covered. And definitely your feet. Oh, hello, buffalo. Hey, we have the big herbivores this afternoon. Hello, buffalo. Good evening to you. See the thick horns. That's the boss, just in the centre of the beam now. The centre of the horns, that's what I was talking about, where the rhino's horn was placed. These are old boys, bachelor boys. Whenever I hear that, I always think of Cliff Richard.
Sorry?
I always think of Cliff Richard. The Bachelor Boys. You ever heard that song?
No. I don't think so. Maybe.
How's it go?
Play it.
It's not quite an old song. You'll be a bachelor boy. That's it, yeah. Until the day you die. That was it.
Please don't sing.
Yeah, I can't sing. I'll be quiet. Actually, the rhinos used to enjoy me. Huh? Are you singing about you? Mark was singing about him. He was singing down the earpiece to me as well. Oh, sorry. Deb, wondering if there's been any sign of lions or leopards. I've been hoping so, Deb.
What was that up there?
Sorry?
What was that up there? Screw it.
Yeah, I was looking at it.
Or now?
I think it is. There is something up there.
I think it's an hour.
Yeah, it could well be. I was just pointing at something with the spotlight to have a look. So that just caught my eye. I don't know if it's a monkey.
I think it's an hour.
It's going to show.
I
No,
love
it is a
the
monkey.
monkey.
It's a vervet monkey.
Sure. Sneaky one.
You're very sneaky. Vervet monkey is like, turn off the light. I want to go to bed. Now, the only leopard that we've heard about tonight is up in Buffalo's Hook in Kanyeni. But that's why I'm going to head back down Central Road and head towards the lodge and see if Karuna is about. And Jackalberry with fruits on look. Sorry, little one. Okay, I'll turn off the light now. There's the vervet monkey. It's funny, it just happened to catch my eye. I thought that looks a funny clump of leaves. Leave the buffalo. One of these days, hopefully in the not too distant future, we'll find a leopard walking down here. Because I think this is perfect leopard country. Excuse the pun. But I'm surprised we don't find more leopard in here. Or maybe there is more leopard in here and we just don't see them because they're so well concealed. Maybe that's what it is. Wow. Sorry, I'm just getting just had a big smell of hay and buffalo together. It smelled like a farm in the UK. All the way out here in Africa. How old is that? But suddenly with all this dry grass around, it smells so sweet, and it smells like that really sweet hay. Nice and dried by the sun. And then the dung from the buffalo, which does smell like cattle. Ah. Oh, nightjar. Trying to reverse so you can see it. Pull off. Yeah, I think the signal should be a little bit better. Ginny over there in Virginia, and asking what does ard mean, in what language, and are aardwolves nocturnal? Yes, aardvols are generally nocturnal, although I have seen and heard of aardvols being active during the day sometimes. But they are generally... Drongo, you're supposed to be in bed. Trying to get one last supper. What does Ard mean? Ard is earth in Afrikaans. So you got the Aardvark, which literally translates as the earth pig. Vark meaning pig. So you got the Flakvark. I'll say it right. It's quite a mouthful, but Flakvark is the warthog. Shallow pig in Afrikaans. Aardvark, earth pig, or the earth bear or ant bear. It's got a number of different names. And then aardwolf, earth wolf in Afrikaans. Actually, a lot of the animals we use the Afrikaans names, like springbok is Afrikaans. I suppose buffels is very close to the English buffel. Buffalo. Although kameelpad is the giraffe, which is very different. Klipspringer is another one, little dwarf antelope, Klipspringer. Rock jumper. Or is it, I think it's stone actually, Klip is stone, isn't it? Stone jumper. Bush baby's the cutest. Sorry. But Nachapi. I think that is a very cute little name for the bush baby. Nachapi. Hi Debbie. Interesting question there about the ostrich. Is it true, and why do we see ostrich burying their heads in the sand in the cartoons? Is there any truth with that? And no, it's not. Not true at all. I don't know why. I don't know where it came from. But ostrich don't do that. Unless someone saw an ostrich just pecking at seeds or something on the ground, and maybe they just saw it from a distance and it looked like it had its head in the ground. Maybe out on the open plains, maybe there's a bit of a mirage going on. Maybe it looked like it was burying its head. But other than that, I don't know. They don't bury their heads. Interesting one, Marcus. What animals change colour in winter to change them in summer? Probably the birds is the one that sticks out in my mind. We've got the breeding season and non-breeding season plumage, especially the widers and some of the brightly coloured birds. And the reason for it is that they have a disadvantage for being brightly coloured. And that's one of the ways they can actually show the females that they are fitter, because if they have these bright colours, and they have still survived, even though they've got this handicap, so to speak, of these bright colours and being able to be seen by predators easily, or long tails, which makes them, or makes it difficult for them to fly. There's another nightjar on the road. We're going to try and get this one on camera. Haha. What is it with the nightjars this evening? Not helping. They usually just sit there in the road and you have to actually drive right up to them before they move. But during the winter time, they change the plumage so that they do have a better chance of survival. And a lot of them will shed those long tails. Are you going to stay put this time? No. Okay, I'm going to give up with you. There we go. Animal-wise, here in Africa, I don't think there is any animals. The reason being that there'd be no reason to do so. I mean, most of the animals have patterns that will conceal them, no matter if it's summer or winter. Even the cats are coloured to really sort of blend in usually. Yeah, I think you really only get the changes in colours where there's an extreme change in the colour and the surrounding, like in the Arctic. On the Arctic tundra you've got this extreme change. So you've got the snow, so if you've got a dark animal it's going to stick out incredibly well. So if they've got the white, then it helps to blend in, whereas in the winter time, in the summertime, then a white animal is going to stick out like a sore thumb. And then obviously you've got the polar bear, which yes, another kettle of fish. I'm thinking like the Arctic fox and small mammals, which may also become prey to animals too. The Arctic fox becomes this beautiful chocolate brown colour in the summertime, blending in with the soil. But I might be right, I can't think of anything here in Africa that does change its colour. And I just saw a nahabi. Might be a little bit too far away to see. Baby, but he's gone too far back. He was just a little bit too far away. I can just turn around here. Never mind. Try and find another one. Hi, John. Wondering how long hippos can hold their breath underwater, and they reckon probably about 5 minutes. I think again it will depend on the individual and each individual's ability. Maybe some can hold the breath for a bit longer. Maybe if they're sleeping, maybe you can hold it a lot longer. But they reckon about 5 minutes on average. Hey Dave, long time no hear. Hope you're well. Wondering how many bats are out here in South Africa, and are there any blood-sucking vampire bats? Vampire bats, as far as I know, are actually only found in South America, I think. I think you get the vampire bats elsewhere. We don't get them here. Look, guinea fowl in the tree again. Is it someone called them in Duna's snack? Shame. So there you go, there's another bird that roosts at night. I think it's their attempt to not be eaten by the leopards. That's quite pretty. But how many bats? I forget how many bats there are here. I think it's probably around, in South Africa, probably in its 50s. Maybe 50, 60 species of bat. Maybe a little bit more actually. I think Penny sent through how many were in the Sabi Sands. Was it about 48 species in the Sabi Sands? Oh, 42. 42 in Kruger. Okay, lady, where are you? Hi, Sally. Good to hear from you too, Sally. Hope you're well over there in New York. Wondering if there's any animals that leave here in the winter. Birds and things, and yes there are. There's probably about oh I think we've just found somebody. Who have we just found? Oh, it's the impala. Or is it? Could be steenbok actually. I thought they were little spotted cats. In Yana were looking. It's the steenbok. Steenbok is scaring everybody. I'm seeing different. I don't want to shine on them too much, just in case Karula is around. I don't want to show them off to her. No, it was a steenbok. I just saw them again. They almost looked a little bit grey in the spotlight. Okay, so we are on a badger. A badger trail, or trail for a badger, or a serval. Either will do. Sally, what was Sally asking? Popped out my head. Oh, that was it. Going in winter. Sorry, Sally. Mine is not my own. Keeps flitting off somewhere. But certainly the birds. I think our bird list goes down by about half in the winter time. We don't really see any animals leaving. They just might move further afield in the search for food. So you might just see a slight change in behaviour, but they won't leave, they won't migrate like in some areas of Africa, like in wildebeest. They won't really migrate. But they might just start searching further afield for more food. out of the way of predators. Hi April. Oops, another car. Oh well. Good evening to you. I'm wondering if the rhino horns breaks off, will it grow back like the fingernail? And it does grow, it grows continually throughout the life. But it can be quite painful to them to lose, especially if it's right at the base. It gets ripped out. It can be very painful to them. Oh, somebody's following us. In that case, let's try. Oh! Somebody's there. Somebody's there. Somebody's there. I don't know if you're going to be able to get it. It's running away. There it is. Just put its head up. Just there. And it could be a young white-tailed mongoose. Okay, I'm going to just see if we can actually try and get a little bit closer again. Sorry?
Go back on the right.
Go back on the right. No, that's Impala. Oh, there it goes. Try and get behind. Troopers are going into quite thick bush here. Let's just see if I can get another view of it and try and stop again. Where did you go? So I wasn't 100% sure, didn't quite see the tail too well. It's probably a little bit smaller than a white-tailed mongoose. Could have been a genet. Maybe it was disappeared. wanting to know about piranha. Do we have any piranha here? And how close are we to Pete's Pond? Piranha are found in South America in the rivers there. We don't have piranha. I don't recall actually hearing anything similar to a piranha that could be in the waters. Don't even think we've got anything like pike, catfish or barbel. Tigerfish apparently. Tigerfish is one thing we have. Yeah, in South Africa, but not here. I think, aren't tigerfish more like a shark? They actually... I forget, freshwater or saltwater? I forget. But... oh, they are in the rivers. Ah, okay. Tigerfish are more like a freshwater barracuda. So I've never really been in areas where they might occur, so not my strong point, unfortunately. So, how close are we to Pete's Pond? Not that close, a few hundred k's. I think as the crow flies, I think someone looked it up the other day, I think it's about 300 k's as the crow flies. Mashatu, Botswana, just over the Botswana border. To hear from you. Good evening. I'm wondering why we see the nightjar sitting in the roads. When you think about the night hawks, they fly around after the insects. And it's just a different tactic. They sit in the open road or open area, and they've got a wider field of view, and they can actually see the insects above them. And when they fly up, they don't have branches and that sort of thing to deal with. So I think it's just a different tactic, different strategy, and that's what you need to survive. You need to have a slightly different strategy, maybe eating slightly different sized insects, or different types of plant, or leaves, or parts of leaves, or different sized animals, to be able to find a little role within the society that you can do, or you can feed on, or whatever that role is, but you need to be able to do it better than other animals or birds or beings. So something here. What's here? More little eyes. I think there's another pair of Steenbok, I think. Yep. Okay. I'm going to see if we can actually see these little guys. I've not seen any of the Steenbok, but we're not going to look at them too quickly. Too long. If we can just have a quick look. This is one of the dwarf antelopes. And that was what was running across the road earlier and upsetting everybody. There's a little pair here. Nice rusty colour. Also another Afrikaans named animal, Steenbok. And a duiker, that's also another Afrikaans, duiker, to dive. That's what I was getting confused with a little bit earlier. Slightly larger, grey in colour. Okay, we're going to leave them there, I don't want to keep the spotlight on them too long. And that's why animals in different areas may eat, or it's usually the diet more than anything. They may eat something different to the same animal in a different area, depending on what is there, depending on what they have in the way of an option to eat, but also what other animals are there which may compete for that particular type of food. And that's why animals have different methods of gathering or catching food, and different diets, different specialities for eating or finding that food. Something in the road that I want to see. It's another nocturnal animal. Saw the eyes on the road. There it is. There it goes. Unfortunately, the nocturnal animals tend to be quite shy because they don't get seen very often. Unfortunately, too far away for us to really catch on camera before it moved. Possibly a genet, had quite a long tail again. Just happened to see the eyes on the road. Fortunately, I think it has gone. Well, we'll go up a little bit further and turn around. Ellen wanting to know, excuse me, about birds, and birds often being quite colourful. On drive, you see many birds, males more colourful than females. And why is this? I think that was the question. And also talking about the ostrich, the different colour with the ostrich. The male is the black with the white fringes, and the female's the brown. And generally, where there's a male that helps to rear the young, or has some role to play, he'll generally look the same as the female. There's generally no different. Where the male doesn't tend to help the female, but he tries to attract as many, and he tends to be monogamous as well. It's not always the case, but it's general, a general rule. But where the male may have many female partners, so he's just trying to impress as many females, to mate with as many females, you generally find the males are brightly coloured, whereas the females are quite drab because she has to take care of the kids basically. So she's got to try and blend in with the environment and not be conspicuous. And just going back to what I was saying earlier, if the male doesn't have a hand in rearing, all he really needs to do is try and mate with as many females as possible, and kind of his job can be done, although he wants to be able to survive through to next year so he can breed again. That's one of the reasons why you have these brightly coloured males, to try and impress the females. And there's my stick that looks like a snake. Nearly caught me again. With the ostrich, the male still takes care of the chicks, but when a pair actually sit on a nest, I was hoping that little animal might have come back out to the road. Never mind. But when the pair will sit on the nest at different times of the day, but no one's really too sure what came first. Did the ostrich get coloured the way that they are and then sit on the nest at certain times or were they already that colour and they just started sitting on the nest because of it? So no one's really too sure what came first, as far as I know. But females generally sit on the nest during the day. She's fairly drab in colour, so she can blend in with the surroundings, and maybe that's another reason why people thought that they buried their heads in the sand. Because if ostriches are on the ground and they're sleeping, sometimes they'll actually rest the necks right out, and maybe that's why it looked like the head was in the sand. Quite possibly. But the male will then take over from the female and sit on the nest at night. So his dark plumage will also help to conceal him. That's the theory behind it. I think maybe the white feathers are also probably his way of displaying to the female and showing how fine he is, especially with the white tips. Those come into play, and he sways his wings over his head and shows how impressive he is. But I think it's more to do with the female being dull during the day, so she can sit on the nest during the day and be concealed, whereas the black might just stick out during the day. I don't think she's really going to stick out at night. I would say. I think there's both theories or both reasons for that difference in colour in the plumage. Hi, Vicky in Florida, wanting to know what the difference is between a Steenbok and a Duiker. And the Duiker is grey Duiker is grey in colour, slightly larger, a little bit more stocky. Although you can get the two mixed up. As I said earlier, it looked a little bit like the Steenbok was a little bit grey in the spotlight. Whereas the Steenbok, quite slender, slightly longer legs, and very red in colour with the white belly. And the black on the nose, also quite distinctive. Go on, honey badgers. We've seen you around, we've seen the tracks here at least. Wow. Woohoo! A very strong smell of bully must. Sure. It just must have been part of the dung there on the road. Wow, that was strong. gonna have any luck with this little one. Oh, there we go. So it can be quite difficult to tell the nightjars apart. I do get a lot of fiery neck nightjars, but I didn't see that ring around the neck, that golden orangey ring around the neck. Could be he was just sitting with his head too far back, put it tucked in. We get the fiery neck nightjar around here a lot. I have heard the freckled nightjar go bow wow, bow wow. I can't remember if I've heard the Rufous cheats. Kind of sounds like a little motorbike or something starting up. It kind of goes. It's kind of like if you imagine someone trying to start a little motorbike that's not wanting to start in the morning, kind of just doing that whole starting up motion. Don't ask me how my brain works. I can picture things that I have no idea why or how I picture them, but yes. That one works in my head. A bit like the GNU as well. It also sounds a bit like a motorbike trying to start up. They go ring, ring, ring. Anyway, back to searching for a badger. Porcupine. Porcupine would be nice. Save my story for the next time I'm on drive. I just suddenly thought of a very funny, not funny, but a story you guys might appreciate. Sadly, you might have to wait until next time. Hey, Scorpio. Hold on a minute. There we go. Well, thank you very much for joining us here on Wild Earth. I hope you enjoyed seeing the rhino and especially seeing that wonderful behaviour rolling in the mud. And so I can't say it enough. I just love seeing that. And I hope maybe for some of you it's shown you a different side to rhinos and shown you that they're not always that nasty. So hopefully if anybody has had some bad times with rhinos, hopefully that might just open your heart up to them a little bit, I hope. But thank you very much, Seb, for all your can work this afternoon, and Mark back in final control, and thanks to you guys for sending all those questions through. It's been wonderful to hear from you, and great to have you on board. And if you'd like to join us again, then do tomorrow morning, 6:30 Central Africa time, where myself and Mark will be heading out. And I'll be on camera, Mark will be presenting, and we'll see what else we can go and find tomorrow morning. But take care wherever you are in the world. Have a great day, have a great night, and we'll see you again here on Wild Earth. Bye everybody.